So it's 5 a.m. in the morning here, so I gotta talk a little quieter so I don't wake up my wife. But I was just so excited to talk to you about the order by function that I couldn't sleep. So let's jump into the computer and let's talk about the order by function in SQL because it's a fun one. So here I am in my SQL server, and if you want to follow along with me, go watch the earlier videos in the video playlist linked down in the video description called Learn SQL for Free. This is currently the 14th video that I've made in this series where I'm teaching you SQL completely for free, and I show you all the way from the ground up. So how to set up this server that we have here, all the way to what we're going to be talking about in the video today. So if you're interested in following along or attempting the practice problems that I have at the end, go watch those videos. All right, let's jump into today's lesson. So first things first, like in all these videos, I'm going to click New Query. And just like that, we're ready to talk about the order by clause. So what is the order by clause? Well, the order by clause is an essential keyword, and it allows us to sort the results of our SQL queries in a specific order. So this is what essentially allows you to easily and quickly present data in a meaningful way, either alphabetically, numerically, or by date. Now, why is this important for SQL? Because you might be like, well, I can export it to Excel and then I can sort it. Well, it's important because when you're doing investigations, it's often useful to very quickly flip between two dates, for example, or flip between high to low in a delta column, those kinds of things. So what exactly do you need to know or absolutely need to know about the order by function? All right, let's start covering that. So first, when you are wanting to sort, you type order by and then you type the column name. And if you want to sort by multiple columns, you just continue to create a kind of a list, and it'll first sort by the first column, then sort by the second column, so on and so forth. All right. The next thing that you need to know is ASC for ascending sorts data from smallest to largest. So it sorts it from A to Z, 0 to 9, if you have a date, earliest to latest. And this is typically the default sort order if not specified in the query. Okay. And then finally descending right here. If we run this, descending sorts data from largest to smallest. So it's kind of the opposite of ascending, and it starts with DESC, and it sorts data from smallest to largest. So with that, let's go ahead and let's jump into an example. So our first example that we're going to be talking about here is we're going to be sorting data by a single column ascending. So ascending is the default sort method of SQL. So here, for example, we are selecting our product name and our price from a SQL practice.dbo products, and we're ordering it by price. So if we run this, this is going to sort ascending, as you can see right here. If you want to be extra sure that it's sorting ascending, you can type ASC and you can run this just like that. Our next example that I want to cover with you guys, and let me just pull this up just so we're making sure that we're capturing all of this in frame, is the exact opposite of what we just did. So that's going to be sorting a single column, essentially descending. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to be using our customers table, and let's take a look at that query. So here we are, we're selecting our customer name from the table, and we're sorting by last name descending. So let's go ahead and let's run that. And look right here, here's the Z's coming up as part of our last name. All right, now let's move on to example 3 here that we have, which is where we're sorting by multiple columns, intermixed, ascending, and descending. So here we are, right? Here's our query, and we're querying orders, right? We're going to first query by order date ascending, and then we're going to query by total amount descending. So if we have multiple orders per order date, right, which we do here, it's then decreasing, or then going essentially descending from largest all the way down to smallest off total amount. So hopefully this is pretty straightforward. The order by clause is. I do just want to talk about 2 additional things that are pretty cool and that I think you should know.
So the first thing is that you can actually sort, instead of typing the column number or name, you can sort by typing in a number. So for example, in this past query, if I wanted to type by order ID, I could just go by 1 and then by 2. So here is what that query would look like in our SQL Server, right? See, so we're selecting by order ID, order date, total amount, SQL practice orders, and we're going order by 1 and then 2 descending. So we run that just like that. There we are. We're doing the exact same thing. We're sorting by order 1 ascending and then total amount or order date descending. So we're selecting by order ID ascending and then order date descending. So that's what's going on here. All right. The other thing that I want to talk to you is something that will not work in SQL Server. And again, we are currently working in SQL Server, which is a Microsoft practice. But that's essentially that in some SQL variants, you can actually go ahead and you can, instead of, for example, if you wanted to sort 2 columns by descending and then 1 column by ascending, you can essentially group them together. So let's take a look at what that looks like, right? So if here's that same query, right? If I wanted to sort by these 2 descending and then I wanted to go and I wanted to sort by the next one ascending, right? I can group them together and it'll sort both of the columns in the same order. So that way I don't need to type order date space descending, total amount space descending. We won't be using it in this lesson because it doesn't work in SQL Server, but I just want to know that this exists. So when you see it in a work environment, you are not incredibly confused. All right, we've reached that time of the video where I give you practice problems and you try them on your own. So our first problem is going to be, I want you to generate a list of customers in alphabetical order. I want you to sort them alphabetically by their last name, and I want you to retrieve their first name, their last name, and their email. Pause the video now and attempt this problem. Okay, so let's talk about the solution. So first things first, we're going to go select, and then we're going to go from SQL practice .dbo customers, right? And I'll give that an alias of A. We'll go A dot first name, right? A dot last name, A dot email, right? So now we have everything selected that they want, and they want them sorted alphabetically by their last name. So alphabetically means starting at A and going to Z, so we want to sort that ascending. So we'll go by last name, right? And there's IntelliSense helping me out, and we'll go ascending, or we could have typed nothing at all because that's the default search. And we go ahead and we run that, boom. There we are. We got all these coming in. And if you notice, there's nulls popping up on top. That's because in ascending, nulls always come first. It's actually, I believe, the opposite in descending. All right, here is problem number 2. So problem number 2, you need to review your latest orders that you received. How can you retrieve the order ID, order date, and total amount from the orders table sorted with the most recent orders first? So most recent orders, we'll actually pause the problem here and try it. Okay. All right. Now let's jump into this. So most recent orders first essentially means that we want the earliest or the most recent date to be first on the list, which means we want this descending. And then we're going to be selecting this from our SQL practice .dbo.orders table, all right? We're going to go as a, we're going to go up here, we're going to go a dot order ID, a dot order date, and a dot total amount. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to select this by order date descending. And let's go ahead and let's run that. And there we are, order date descending. So that's the answer to practice problem number 2. And just like that, you've reached the end of today's lesson. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing and liking the video, as it lets me know that you want me to continue making SQL videos. Upcoming, we're going to be talking about SQL joins. So that's a big concept in SQL. It'll probably take me a few days at least to get kind of the first video together, but please subscribe as that'll be coming shortly. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.